Hey guys, welcome back. It's Maverick here today with another episode of Fumetsu no Anata. So, last week I should say, we had a bit of a break. It was like a major turning point, right? We lost Gugu and all that, and Fushi is going on a new adventure, I guess you could say, a new arc. He's gonna meet some new friends, and most probably lose some new friends, if we're being brutally honest about it. But, in any case, so here we are, right? The remaining 8 or so episodes, and, I presume the last arc of this season. So, are we still going to go through the exact same kind of formula that has been shown throughout these past few arcs, or are we gonna do something different? I mean, 8 episodes, there's certainly a lot of things that we can do here, right? In any case, let's just jump right into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. I didn't really want to carry on because, I don't know anything about this next arc. I mean, I assume that Fushi is going to pursue the knockers, right? Hmm? I mean, he was warned, after all. Is that a little bit too harsh? Hmm. I'm still wondering though, like, what exactly is like the story trying to tell us, right? Still quite perplexing to me. I mean, if we go through, this is what you would call the normal, like a normal shonen journey, if you will, would basically be having all these, these companions, these friends, these recurring characters, and continuing on. However, if we actually think back to like classical literature, and I mean really classical literature, like for instance, sagas or epics, if you will, then I think this format kind of makes sense, right? A hero's journey, right? But not necessarily one where you have companions along the way. You meet people along the way, but you are immortal. I mean, okay. When he's saying killing us, does he mean, like, the observer? Oh. One day you will no longer be here. Huh. So even you aren't immortal. Oh. So is Pure Line gonna be the one who's gonna make it all the way to the end here? Alright. So at least we get a confirmation on that part, eh? On Rin's part. I do hope that. I think that's actually an important thing, right? An important quote that Pure Line just said right there. Although to Fushi, who is immortal, maybe the concept of leaving something behind doesn't really. Does that have any meaning to him? Really, this entire first half of the episode is basically Fushin going through his rebellious period, right? I actually thought Pure would have said, that is something I cannot promise you. Hmm. I guess the observer does kind of represent this world in a sense. I'm thinking. What other forms has he lost? Hmm? It's like, who's March? So he lost March and Kumagumi, right? Hmm. The fact that he still has this much knowledge is impressive, isn't it? Since it's technically supposed to be completely wiped from him. Right, because if your memories. Yeah. Okay. I like that. If memories still exist, used to exist. It's kind of like an existential question, right? It is literally a. What the hell? Oh, that looks nice. But that's not its true form. Oh well. The sea? An island? Oh. And take on all the different forms of animals? I mean, wouldn't that guarantee that there's water all around you if you're on a ship? But I guess technically it's... What do I feel like this is a scam? Yeah, this feels like a scam. Oh, they're gonna be branded as slaves? Oh. Unfortunately for them. I find it kind of funny in a way that, you know, it works just like that. What? And why does she suddenly know, like, there's something different from him? I don't quite get that. How did she just come here all of a sudden and was like, oh, sorry, made a mistake? Ooh. Who are you guys? Okay. I'm guessing that they had like some dialogue that they didn't show here. Does she have a brand? No. What? And now we have some kind of gladiator battle? What? I mean, hello? Okay, and just when I thought we were getting somewhere, suddenly we're, like, nowhere at all, alright? Um, yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys after this. Alright, so all of a sudden we are now in some sort of fight to the death arena slash tournament kind of situation where I'm guessing the last one standing, as a reward, they get to go into the city or whatnot, or, you know, scale up the wall, like inside the walls or something of that sort. But, yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, I think at this point, all I can assume is that they probably cut out a lot of dialogue, they cut out a lot of the exposition before we got to this point, right? Because it's quite clear that, I think something must have happened to that girl there. Maybe she had her sights on Fushi from the start or whatnot, well, my best guess right now is maybe she has a quota to meet, and so she just, you know, just gets random people off the streets to stuff them in, and so that she meets her quota of prisoners or something of that sort. But beyond that, though, I think maybe she realizes that Fushi is maybe somewhat important in a way, or at least different, right? Because otherwise, why would she so quickly come out and try to rescue him, well, rescue, right, him, during, you know, the few times that they met, right? And also, like, later on, how she realized that Purin is called Purin and all that. I mean, I'm just assuming at this point that this was a rushed adaptation, and so maybe they're trying to get through the non-important parts. The important part is that we're now suddenly in a new situation, and they need to get off this island, right? And so that's literally it. And I guess that would be the entirety of this of this situation here. And no, most probably we're gonna have to learn the backstory of those kids as well, including that girl. And maybe it's gonna be a sad story. Maybe they turn out to be companions in the end. And then maybe they also die at the very end, right? It's hard to say for now, but in any case, that's what I think they're going for here. Beyond that, though, I think actually I liked a lot of the introspection that was done this episode. Actually, no, we if we do use a sort of like parallel situation to real life or whatnot, you could say that Fushi is going through his kind of rebellious phase right now. Of course, this kind of has a negative connotation, right? You could argue that, hey, it's the observer's fault. Like, he doesn't really tell anything to Fushi or whatnot. But, I mean, hear me out, right? Let's just assume that the observer is actually someone who is trying to protect this world, right? Who is trying to do its best to look over this world in some way. No, I'm going to assume that this is a benevolent being for right now, right? Even though we don't really have evidence in any which way, but you know, compared to knockers, it seems that at least the observers take a more hands-off approach and allow nature to run its course, right? Fushi notwithstanding. So I'm more inclined to believe that the observer is technically a benevolent being for now, and probably there is like a bigger or deeper meaning to all of this, right? Even though it might kind of seem unfair to Fushi and whatnot, but I mean, he is right? He did create Fushi after all. And even if Fushi might not exactly want to carry out everything that the observer wishes, I mean, I think eventually probably what Fushi wants himself is probably going to align with the observer if it is actually, for the good of this world in some way, right? And for Fushi, that would translate into like protecting those around him and having a safe haven on this world in a sense. So I think in the end, their goals can be aligned together as well. So in that kind of respect, I think it's okay to call Fushi's behavior here a bit more rebellious, right? And really, you can't really blame him. I mean, he just lost his dear friend, his dear brother, and whatnot. But yeah, and I was kind of, and the presence of Purin, I actually think is very important, right? Because she is kind of like the calming presence, the voice of reason amongst all this. Because, like, let's face it, Fushi, for all intents and purposes, is still really much a child, right? That's why I use the term rebellious phase to describe him. And I think especially Pyoran with her, especially at being such an advanced age, having the wisdom, having the the experience of living these ages, and also because she is on the verge of death from old age, right? I think it's a good little contrast here with everything that she can teach and she can impart on Fushi, right? Because, like, think about it. If it's someone, like, if it's a peer, well, like peer, in terms of a similar age, I guess you could say, to Fushi's human form, right? Like Gugu and Rin and whatnot. I mean, they're still young. They have like their entire lives in front of them, right? So you would only learn of the you would only share the same kind of experiences, the same kinds of bonds, and the same kinds of how can I put it, the same kind of wisdom as them, right? Whereas Pure Lin, she has a different take on things, the wisdom throughout the years, right? There were a few quotes I did like very much here, such as, the memories are really what keeps a person alive, that kind of aspect, and it really ties in nicely with Fushi, right? And also, again, the fact that Pure Lin is at the advanced age and she has nothing more to lose anymore, right? So that kind of perspective versus Fushi, who literally can't die, right? And, this kind of contrasting perspective here, I think that's really good, and it's definitely something that Fushi will need to learn more about and sort of internalize. He might not be able to understand that now, but I think these are lessons that he needs to take heed, and maybe they'll make sense to him, sometime later down the road, right? So I do like that kind of influence here. I do enjoy the fact that Purin is actually there alongside him as well. He needs this kind of this elder presence around him in order to fully mature, if you will. Because, heaven knows the observer certainly isn't going to teach him anything in regards to that sort. I mean, I highly doubt the observer even has. Well, actually, I was gonna say that I'm not even sure if the observer even can understand human emotions and whatnot, but probably he can, right? Probably he can. Even though to him that might be, as insignificant as anything else, right? If we do consider him more of a kind of deity in a sense, right? But, in any case, what I'm trying to say here is that I do think it's important for someone like Purin to remain by Fushi's side, at least temporarily, right? To impart her wisdom on him. And, like, I'm actually kind of curious. In the original work, right, in the original manga, they quickly skip through a lot of the times when Purin and Fushi were traveling together, right? They kind of like time skip through all of it and just gave us a few stills of what happened during that time. But I do wonder how much wisdom that Purin has already been trying to tell and teach Fushi during those times. And again, it might be a situation where Fushi, even though he can understand the words and the meanings of the words, he doesn't really understand the true underlying meaning behind those words, right? And that might be something that needs to be revisited later on once he gains a little bit more experience, once he sees the world a lot more, right? And speaking of which, again, going back to what I was saying at the beginning here, right? Even though this is clearly not exactly in your common sort of shonen structure, right? You have companions that you travel with, friendships that you build and carry on and carry you throughout the entire story. I do feel like it kind of reminds me, actually, now that I think about it, kind of like the epics of old, right? and I'm talking about like the old literary epics, like why can't I remember right now? What was it again? Like Odyssey, right? Or Iliad, or you know, stuff like that, where it is a hero's journey, but there's not exactly, right, a common sort of companion throughout, right? Although I guess, actually, I kind of forgot. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But I hope that I hope you guys can understand what I'm saying here, right? Like the journey is Fushi's journey alone, right? And all the people that he meet, all the experiences that he have, they're just there to build his experiences, to carry him through to the end of his journey, right? And the end of that journey might be what the observer has for him, right? Although it's unclear at this point, like how much the observer actually, you know, controls Fushi, right? Like how much does he actually plan ahead? Maybe this is still very much a free will kind of situation, right? Or it could be entirely foreseen and preordained, or at the very least nudged and encouraged by the observer, right? So I guess that's also something to keep in mind as well, right? Whether or not this actually has any sort of more religious symbolism within it throughout. But anyways, that's it for episode 13 of Fumetsu no Anata. Again, I feel like it was kind of rushed in some places, but hopefully it's just for the better, and they want to focus the time, you know, the animation time on things that are truly important. So there you go. I will see you guys next week. Until then, bye-bye.